Hello everybody and welcome back to the Brickazoid's Den. Season 2A of the Owl House is over. It's time to talk about the season as a whole, I guess. And then also I want to do a little bit of, well actually mainly a lot of discussions and theories, predictions, things like that, things I want to see for Season 2B. Because we only have 11 episodes left of this season. And then we're just about done, because then my guess is that Season 3, with those 3 45-minute episodes, are mainly just going to be like the finale. Alright, so I'll kind of start with a, I don't know, like a season review recap, I guess. I mean, Season 1 was good, but you could tell there was a lot of just Disney, what I call Disney episodes, which are a lot of like the simple, not really story driven, didn't really do much for the plot line episodes, but this season had none of that really at all. I mean, this season absolutely blows that out of the park. Comparing this season, even this is only like the half of the season. Just comparing this half of the season to Season 1, this is, to me, is so much more interesting, so much better, and I love it even more. I just think that every episode had just something to do with the overarching plot line, gave us backstory. There was an entire episode dedicated to, like, King, so you can get his backstory, where he came from, also continuing that plot line, and just all these different things when each episode tackled each one, and it just made it so much better. There was never really a dull moment in this season at all, or a dull episode, besides the mid-season finale. That's a whole different story. I already kind of talked about that. I wasn't crazy about the mid-season finale. I think a lot of people liked it, but I was not crazy about it. But the rest of the season, other than that, the rest of the season was absolutely incredible. Episode 1 just kind of brought us back into the world. It was like, oh, these characters exist. This guy exists. Oh, here's a new character. Here's a new villain right here. Here's like a quick little story. It just kind of brought everybody back into the world. And then episode 2 just kicked into high gear immediately. Went straight with the Lumity stuff. Got us some new characters. Got us some pretty great fight scenes. More story as well, especially towards the ending with the Golden Guard approaching the Blights for their machinery. Then you go to episode 3, the King episode. Get all this backstory on King. So many questions. So many of them that need to be answered. And they have 11 episodes to do it, and I know they will. And then episode 4, continuing on, we get to learn about Ida's family and the Clawthorns and the elixirs and cursed stuff and cursed magic and all this stuff. And then episode 5, Lumity completely, just about. Mainly that's what everybody focuses on. We get a Gus Porter episode, and then moving right along to episode 6, where we get all this Palisman stuff. We get to see the Golden Guard in just a new light, I guess. We get to meet him as, Hunter instead of just the Golden Guard. We get all this crazy stuff. Move on to episode 7. We learn about Ida's past relationships with Rain and this crazy. So we get to learn about Coven leaders, the Abomination, Darius, and Eberwolf. It was also the Beastkeeping Coven, and their villains. They're with Bellows, I guess you could say. Episode 8, we get knocking on Hootie's door, where just so much stuff happens. King's powers, Harpy Ida, along with Lumity, literally confirmed Lumity. And episode 9, we get even more action with Eclipse Lake, even more Lumity with Eclipse Lake, because Amity is going out. It's an Amity episode this time around. Luz ain't in this. Luz is sick, so we got Amity taking over the lead here. And then obviously we end with Yesterday's Lie. Again, it was emotional. I get it. I understand. I agree. It was very emotional. Was it my favorite? No. I think there could have been, I don't know, something else, but it was emotional. It was fine. It was fine. But yeah, that just, again, an amazing season overall. Alright, I have so many theories, predictions, speculations, whatever, to discuss, and things that I want to see for the season, but I just want to mention one quick little thing, was that I had an original theory for Creepy Luz, Doppelganger Luz, Evil Luz, whatever you want to call her, is that Creepy Luz, whatever, was put in the human world by Bellows to kind of like test out the stuff from the Grimwalker. I mean, that's already been debunked completely because we know that, well, yeah, it just in general has been debunked because of episode 10. Also, that wouldn't make any sense in the timeline. But just the I want to talk about Grimwalkers for a second because it seems like it's gonna be a very important thing, and just all these episodes from the season 2A had all these different things that came from the episodes that came out completely wrong. Like that didn't make any sense. But for example, like the Galder Stones from episode 5 through the Looking Glass Ruins, which is what Gus and his crew of what is that school called? Not Hexide. Glandus, his Glandus group, were trying to get to enhance their powers. Palistrum wood, which is used to carve palisman. Stone Sleeper lungs, I don't think we really touched upon those. And then Selkadamas scales, which are from the first episode. So everything comes back. Everything comes full circle in this show or in this season, which I love. I love it. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly put that out there. That was like an original theory I had. Obviously, completely debunked, not happening. We already know who Creepy Luz is, and it's, well, I can say spoilers. It's a Basilisk. I think before I get into, like, the deep theories, the big theories for the season, just do, like, a couple of things that I just would like to see, or some things that could happen in the next season. Just some pretty common stuff, nothing too crazy. I just have, like, V could return, or the Basilisk, or number 5, whatever you want to call it, could return. I don't know. Maybe could stay in the human realm, I mean. I don't know. Camilla probably was going to return for potentially the end of season 2, maybe season 3-ish. I don't know. There's not a lot known about season 2B yet, because obviously there hasn't been a trailer. Hasn't been much of anything. I'll probably, like, redo this video when the season 2B trailer comes out, and I can just make so many more predictions and speculations for what's going to happen, but that won't be for a little while. This is the first day. This is only day 1 of when not even day 1 of when the hiatus will begin. So I thought of just kind of like a fun episode. Probably not going to happen. It could just be like a scene or something. But I always thought, or not always, but I thought of a Clothorn family episode where Ida goes to her mom's house, her dad's house, her parents' house, sees Lilith, sees Gwendolyn, sees Del, I think his name is, which is Ida's dad. That would be really cool. I also put down here, we're going to get more Harpy Ida, you know, controlling the abilities, using the abilities in fights, potentially, most likely. We also get more King's abilities as well, with his sonar, scream, or whatever it is there. He's probably going to learn how to use those better. He's probably going to learn how to control it. He's probably going to fight with it. All that stuff. Maybe even learn how to echolocate, which was hinted at in episode 9, Eclipse Lake. Then I also put down here Lumity sleepover episode, or Lumity date episode. It's probably going to happen. It's got to happen. There's just no way it can't. So, more Lumity to come, of course. They're definitely going to do more Lumity. And then I also wanted to kind of highlight here as well which Coven leaders are with or kind of against Bellows. And as we know, the Bard Coven, Rain, is against Bellows, kind of working as a double agent, sort of. And then we also have Darius and Everwolf, who are with Bellows. So there's still, like, I believe 6 or so more Covens that we don't know where they stand. So that will be really cool to know, and we probably will find that out in one episode, depending on, I don't know when, but we'd probably definitely find that out at some point. I want to see more Coven leaders. I want to see them do what they do, because, I mean, Darius and Everwolf looked really cool. I mean, they were very, very cool characters. Now I want to see the rest of them. I want to see the construction one and all that. I also put down here, maybe in this Clothorn family episode idea, Ida could have a confrontation with Del, her dad, because of what happened, which we saw in, I believe, episode 8, Knock Knock Knocking on Hootie's Door, where we went into that dream sequence, and then we saw that Owlbeast Ida clawed out Del's eye. So I want to actually see what he looks like now with his eye patch, I bet. That'll be really cool as well. Also want to throw in here, we got to get a Golden Guard redemption arc. Or not even arc, just an episode. Even like a scene, I don't even care. We got to get Hunter back on the hero's side, or not back on the hero's side, but on the hero's side. He's got to do it. I think that they're leading that direction. I don't think he's going to be like a huge villain, unless I have another theory coming into play, which we'll get to later. Unless that theory does exist, that theory does happen. I also want to add in, I feel like there's going to be kind of, well, there already has been, so this isn't really like anything I'm looking for, because there's already kind of been this sort of feud between Kikimora and Hunter within the Emperor's Coven. There's 2 Emperor's Coven members that are against each other, which is crazy, and I want to see them fight again. That'd be really cool. We got to see Hunter win. Justice for Hunter. Then we're moving on here with King's dad. He's got to return. There's no chance that he doesn't. He has to return, along with King's dad's letter. We don't know his name yet, or even if he's actually King's dad, he's most likely King's dad, but we don't know. King's dad letter. It's got to return. Hootie's gonna like vomit or something, and then it's gonna be King's dad's letter, and there's probably gonna be an emotional moment where King is yelling at Hootie. Oh, all right, I can already picture the episode in my head. King and Hootie are gonna have a great day together. They're gonna like get ice cream or something and be all happy the entire episode, finally becoming friends. Hootie's gonna vomit or something, and then it's gonna be his letter, and then there's gonna be an emotional moment where King and Hootie, or King like starts yelling at Hootie because Hootie ate the letter. Again, speculation, but it's gonna be something like that. It's totally, knowing this show, it's gonna be something like heartbreaking and horrible and very, very sad. So, but yeah, either way, both King's dad and the letter has to return for season 2B. We gotta have a King meeting his dad, reuniting that whole deal. Although, I'm worried that like King's dad is gonna become like a villain or something, and then that's gonna be even more heartbreaking. That'd be horrible. Anyways, moving on. I think we'll move on to actually just one more little thing here. I also said that there's got to be more Belos with the door and the Titan. We got to keep having this lead up to this big moment, which is the Day of Unity, where most likely the Titan is going to come back from the dead, I believe. But yeah, there's going to be more of like the little hints towards it. And Belos, he's going to continue to work on building a key for the door, for the portal door, and then hopefully getting the Titan back and everything. I don't know his plans completely off the top of my head, because, I mean, this show is just full of things to talk about and questions that need to be answered. So now we'll move on to some of the more deep speculations, deep predictions, and deep theories. I want to start with some Hunter Golden Guard stuff. First off, I've heard this in a couple different places. Hunter could be a clone or a Grimwalker thing. Because, here's why. Golden Guard's eyes look extremely similar to the eyes in the book next to the Grimwalker page in the opening of Episode 9, Eclipse Lake. His eyes are, I believe, the same color, if not very close. And they kind of talked about Grimwalkers, but I believe Grimwalkers are supposed to be kind of like shapeshifters, or kind of taking the body of some... I don't know the deal. We haven't really learned a lot about Grimwalkers yet. My guess is that that's going to be like a big Emperor's Coven thing. Is like, we need to go make this Grimwalker, or we're going to learn about the Grimwalker stuff. Along with that, the Titan has big plans for him, which was said by Emperor Belos, unmasked Emperor Belos. And I believe I believe Episode 9 as well, the opening there for Eclipse Lake. So, Hunter fits in here somewhere, Golden Guard, whatever you want to call him. He's got to fit in here somewhere, and I think he does. It's just, I don't know where. Where does Hunter fit into this plan? Now, I also want to continue with another theory here relating to Belos, and both these theories kind of connect in a certain way. So I'll continue on to the Belos stuff, because there's a lot to talk about with him, especially this season. There's been just so many reveals. We've seen him without his mask on, which even raises even more questions. So we'll take a look at this Belos stuff right now here. So we have Philip Whittabine, which people, myself included, think it's Belos. I think it could be Belos's ancestor, because it'd be kind of a long time, I believe, I think it was the 1600s that Philip would have been showed up to the Boiling Isles, and I don't think this is. I definitely don't think this is from the 1500s. I don't think Luz or Amity lives in the 1600s. Sorry, so I said Belos's ancestor in my notes here, but it could be Belos. I don't know. Maybe that's why he has like this, almost looks like mold across his face that looks he's like deteriorating. So Belos, and I also continued this theory with Belos uses his ancestors' writings to build a portal to the human world where Philip, or his ancestor, came from. Again, that's just a theory. I'm kind of leaning off that one, judging by the stuff that we got in Eclipse Lake, along with this episode, this week's episode, at the time of this recording, by the way, which is yesterday's lie. So, and then I also want to continue with, in yesterday's lie, we learned a little bit about how humans kind of got into the world of the Boiling Isles, because apparently in the 1600s, two brothers were lured by a witch into the Boiling Isles, and I just wrote here, two brothers could be Philip and Belos, or Philip and Belos are the same people, and we don't know who this brother guy was. But then I did some digging, and I think a lot of people did digging as well, because there's so many things that we need to connect here. In episode 9, I believe the opening for Eclipse Lake, Belos was talking to Hunter and Belos said that his brother was killed by wild magic. So, let's say Philip and Belos are brothers. Philip could have died by wild magic. Belos could have survived, and now he's trying to maybe uphold his brother's legacy, because Philip has all the journals. He wrote in all these journals and things, and that's what the Echo Mouse would project onto the walls of, like, the Owl House, for example. I don't know where I was going with that, but if Philip wrote in all those journals, what if Belos took them, brother Belos took them, and was trying to just kind of complete his brother's work to, have him be remembered, have his legacy be written in history, that type of thing. And I also want to mention that the Cardinal Talisman, which Hunter is aligned with, I believe was also in the book that the curator at the museum on the Human Realm showed Camilla, was that the Cardinal Talisman was next to one of the brothers. Presumably not Philip, I believe. The other brother, who we don't know his name or who he is at all. So, connecting that back, what if Belos is making a Grimwalker to make his brother come back, or not come back, but like make a clone of his brother, and Hunter is the younger one? Because I don't know if Grimwalkers really grow or develop, but if they did, what if Hunter was a young Belos's brother? This is going to get really confusing, so I apologize, but what if Hunter is a young version of Belos's brother who's growing up, and he's a Grimwalker? He's got the brown eyes and all that. On top of that, the little ear snip, I guess I'd call it, I don't even know what you call it, on Belos is the exact same as Hunter's. Belos made a Grimwalker, Hunter's a clone, and like how Belos uses DNA for the Grimwalker, I don't even know if that's how it works. And now Hunter is just this clone of Belos, but maybe it was even, maybe he took his, oh, this is going to get really dark really fast, I apologize, his dead brother's DNA, used it for the Grimwalker, made a young Hunter clone, and now the Titan has big plans for him, because Hunter is the younger version of the brother, who could have been Philip, who could have been writing the journals. Again, I'm just running down a tangent here, and it's gonna get confusing, but in my head right now, it makes sense to me. It's probably not gonna make sense to you. It's very confusing, I know. But if Hunter is a younger version of, let's say, Philip, the Titan has big plans for him because Philip is the one who's been the smart one. He's been studying. He is the Stanley Pines of the group, I guess you could say. He's been writing in all the journals. He's been keeping track of everything in the Boiling Isles, everything that he's seen. Or, another theory, the Titan is going to be resurrected because Titan is basically God in that universe, in the Boiling Isles. So the Titan can resurrect Belos's brother and can use Hunter's body as like a host for Belos's brother's soul or whatever the Titan does, and then Belos and his brother can live together and rule the Boiling Isles together. All right, now that I brought it down a few notches from my Belos and Hunter tangent, that's pretty much it. I mean, I just think I was so focused on the Emperor's Coven stuff because to me that's some of the most interesting things and the stuff that I want to focus on, that I probably just forgot so many different topics and things like that. So I apologize if I did. Tell me your theories in the comments. Tell me what you felt about the Season 2A. I absolutely cannot wait for Season 2B. I am super excited. There's just 11 episodes that I just cannot wait for. So, for now, we'll call that an end. Do the common YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. And I will see you when I post the next video in the future.